Well, good evening, everyone. We are here together as a family to honor the late Reverend Dr. S.C. Green, a mother, grandmother to us. She leaves such a legacy of, I can't think of anybody, and I'll let my other family members respond to this, but I can't think of anybody that has anything negative to say about her. Like, if you mention her name, people that knew her, whether they were co-workers or they knew her from being involved in the community activism and stuff like that, they have nothing negative to say about her. And I think it's an honor and a blessing for us to be the seed of such a woman, because a lot of people have parents or grandparents that they're almost ashamed to tell anybody that they're even related to because they have such bad reputations in the community. And even thinking about daddy, the only thing I can think of anybody had anything negative to say about him was they would say your father is really mean. And I would say he's not mean, he's very stern. But there was never any scandal, any bad things about, our parents. And so today, mom would have been 82 years old. And so we wanted to gather to just remember her. So let's start with when you hear her name, what are some of the first feelings that you notice, that you feel when you hear S.C. Green's name? Faye Morris.
Why you start with me? I'm not the oldest grandkid. I'm not, like, what's going on here?
The youngest person on this call.
No doubt. All right, so this is what I got to say. When I hear the name Essie, Clementine Green, what does that noise? For one, I feel sad for one.
Turn the volume down on your phone.
It's all the way down already. But I feel sad because it was like almost a year straight. I would take Sundays to go like watch after her, stuff like that. Then the one Sunday that I didn't watch after her because I went to a basketball game, it happened to be the Sunday that she ended up passing away. So yeah, that kind of sticks with me. Because I don't think I could have made a difference, but in my head, I feel like I could have helped her if I was there. About what, I don't really know what happened, but I feel like if I was there, I could have did something. But outside of that, just growing up and knowing that no matter what happened, whether I got in trouble in school, I got in trouble at home or something like that, I always knew my mom didn't care what happened, but she was on my side. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, let me address that real quick before we move on. Because I know for the longest time that there was a lot of guilt from you with regard to, you were the one that watched mom every time Kelly and I would leave and go have service at the hotel. And that Sunday you did go out of town because Waha made mistakes. And mom had a massive heart attack. And, like you said, there's nothing you could have done. When a person's having a heart attack, there's really nothing you can do. But because you used to being there and you weren't there, it was natural for you to feel that. And so I prayed for a long time for you to get past that sense of guilt. Because personally, I feel like, and I said this to my sister that day, but she wasn't in a place to hear it. And I know why she wasn't in a place to hear it, because she didn't want to let mom go. But when Kevin called and said, something's wrong with my mom, he was there with her. And He said, something's wrong with Mom. I think she had slid out of her walker, out of her wheelchair. And I told Kelly, she said, tell him to go ahead and call 911, we're on the way. When we got to the house, Mom was laying on the floor. She had F grip on the leg on this chair. She was really strong. And she had vomited and everything, which is a sign of heart attack in females. And when I looked down at her, I heard the spirits, I'm bringing her home. And I remember turning to Kelly and repeated that. And she said, don't nobody want to hear that. I didn't say anything else because I understood exactly what she was saying. We had just lost Daddy 3 months earlier and we didn't want to hear it. But I knew that Mom was going to go be with Daddy when I looked down on that floor and saw her. So I understand what you're saying. And I understand, I still feel some sadness when I hear her name or think about her. But I also feel such a great sense of pride that she was our mother. She was our grandmother. And that's how I feel when I hear her name. All right, baby, the baby girl of the family, Kelly Lynn, Essie's baby girl.
I do want to say something around that event, because I was thinking, because Kevin had this sense of guilt because he was there, that he felt there was something maybe he could have done. And I felt like maybe I shouldn't have left. So it's always in hindsight that, but I want to share something that I don't know if I've ever shared with you all, but I know I've shared before. The night before that, usually the routine was I would get Mom, get her up and we'd sit and we'd eat and we'd talk. But this particular day, she did not want, that Saturday, because this was a Sunday, she passed. And that Saturday, she didn't want to get up. And I asked her, I said, you don't want to get up, my darling? And she said, no. And I said, okay. So I gave her a bath in the bed. She laid in the bed and was watching TV. And Aunt Rachel and Uncle Calvin called and said they were coming down and they were bringing dinner. They wanted to have dinner with us. So when they got there, I said to her, I said, do you want to get up? Your sister's here. And she said she didn't want to get up. And so I let her lay in the bed. And of course, the doors open so I could see. And when I went in that room that night, they were still there, but Mom was literally going like this. She was laying down, but she was going like this. And if you knew her during that time, you knew she didn't talk a lot. She kind of mumbled and stuff. But I asked her specifically, I said, what are you doing, my darling? And she said, I'm going to get my husband. And that was all she said that Saturday night. And then that Sunday, she had the heart attack and passed away. But earlier in that week, I do remember her. Everybody knows where Daddy sat on that sofa right there on the corner by the light. And she literally walked over there to that section and she rubbed it and she moaned like a sorrowful moan. And I said to whoever was there, I don't remember at this moment, but I said, she knows that he's gone. And everything in hindsight, I do remember when he passed away and I was living in Virginia and I had come back and I went back to Virginia to get some Christian schoolwork. And the janitor at the school, who I didn't even know this man, he said, I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your father. He said, but your father is not going to leave your mother here for long. And I'm thinking, you don't even know me. Who the heck are you? And I didn't, of course, want to hear that because, everybody know she was my best buddy. And I'm like, he ain't gonna leave her, take her and then we'll have nobody. But apparently he didn't, he left us. He took her.
Should have listened to the janitor.
Yeah, tell him go sweep the floor and mind your business. But it's never easy. But when I hear mom's name, fortunately, this is right now. Today's been a little rough for me, but normally I think of a giver. She was the givingest person, to the point where it made me sick sometimes. And we've had arguments about her giving. I was like, Mom, don't be so dumb. Them people are just using you. You're just, these people come to church one time and you get them an apartment. They come to church one time, you ride them all around town. And she would always say, the Lord know my heart. I'd be like, yeah, they do too. I mean, the phone would ring off the hook. Like when people be like, can you help me pay my rent? Pastor Green told me this, and so when I hear her name, to me, it's synonymous with the ultimate giver. I feel like she was the ultimate giver.
Thank you. All right, it's on you, Jaren.
I think of a wonderful person, my best friend, and like I said before, like I do feel like I've been doing better with it, but I do feel some type of way being that I was there when she passed, because like that was like real hard for me. Like, but other than that, like, yeah, she was just like a powerful person, real friendly, caring. I remember she used to always, we would ride by going to the church. She'd see somebody pulled over. She'd turn around. She'd turn around to see what's going on. She was on police brutality before we was on it. Like now, everybody.
That was not
she
being
was
friendly.
doing it
That
back
was
then.
nosy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was like, she said, you never know what's going to happen. I'm like, my mama, I don't know nothing about no police beating up nobody. But she was on it. Now they beat you up almost every day.
That's the truth. That is so true. And I was thinking about I think mom and dad were like total opposites in a lot of ways, but they were both givers. They gave in different ways, but they were both givers. Because one of the things that disturbed me was so many things that disturbed me after daddy died with regard to the response to the family from that church that they founded. One of the things that disturbed me was that I knew for a fact that there were people sitting right there in the meeting that owed them thousands of dollars. Just like within the 6 months prior to him dying. But they turned, they forgot all about, they would come by the house and say, Apostle, I need this, that, and other. And immediately he would call Mother Hall and say, so-and-so is coming by, give him a check for this, give him a check for that. So he was a giver also. But mom was the kind of person that she didn't even have to know you. Daddy kind of had to know you and know your situation. But it's like Kelly said, I remember very distinctly a young lady coming to the church. She may have come 2 weeks. We'll give her 2 weeks. And mom co-signed for her to get an apartment. And she didn't pay her rent. And the landlords came. Mom had to, work out something with them for that money. So that's just who she was. And I too would say, Mom, for God's sake, like, why are you just, and her response was, I believe that I have to do what I think is right to do and let God deal with them. And I said, but God doesn't want you giving away everything you have. And then when you have a need, you don't have anything, but he already blessed you with it, but you just gave it away. And then one day she said something to me that really touched me and made me stop questioning her, even though I still disagree with her doing it. But she said that I know that one day your daddy and I are going to be gone, and we won't be here to help you all. And I prayed that because we have blessed other people's children, that when we're gone, somebody will bless our children. And so that kind of made me feel better, even though I still kept my eyes on people. But I just think of just such a kind person, like, and I wanted us to have these family moments to honor our parents and grandparents, because whenever you say her name to other people, the first thing they say is what a mighty woman of God she was, or she could really preach, or she could really sing, and all those things are true. But we knew her beyond what she did in church. And so I want us to focus on those things, because sometimes, whether we realize it or not, it is the James and Essie Green inside of us that is keeping us going. When we just kind of feel like, I just can't take not one more thing. Like, I can't do it. And then I remember something that Daddy said or something that Mom said. And I said, well, I think I'll go one more day. And the next thing you know, a whole week is gone by, then a month. So I think these times are important, because Mom touched so many people's lives. And I want to say this before I forget, Kelly. Mr. Greg Bassett inboxed me and said, please let him know when we're going to do the celebration for the street name, because he really wants to be. He just said this last week, he just doesn't want us to forget him. He said. And I just think about, I can't think of anybody more worthy to be honored. And I know a lot of people say that about their people, but I'm talking about my people. And Essie Green's name is synonymous with giving and love. So I thought to take a moment and just remember her. You know what I mean? Like, it disturbs me to some point that we don't have a lot of pictures. I just really have the same one or two pictures that I have to keep using over and over of them. But this is why I try to tell the young people like Trey and them how important it is to take pictures and to memorialize things, because when that person is gone, you wish you had those things. So I feel
I
like
wanted to say the
I
other
cry.
thing. Yeah, the other thing about Mom too that I think was good, even like we use the word a giver or whatever, but I don't care who a person was or how bad they were in other people's eyes. Mom only saw good in people. If it was somebody, and for some reason I keep hearing like Daddy would say that nigga sure, and Mom be like, honey, stop that, because she looked for it. She almost like searched it out and refused to see the negative in people. It's like, I don't care who you were or how bad you were. She was going to find something good. And I don't know why, but I was talking to Christian's father earlier today, and we were just talking about COVID and all of that. And I said to him, I said, today's Mom's birthday. And that's all I said. And he said, oh my God, he said, I love that woman. He said, she was a great, and I remember when we first got married and Mom was trying to buy him a sweater or something for Christmas or something. And I was like, you ain't got to buy him nothing. But she was just that type of person. And even in our like turmoils, she always would try to show me the good side of when I couldn't see it. And so I just remember that about her. Like I don't never hear her, I never really heard her say negative things about people. That's where I feel like her and Daddy, were opposites. Because Daddy just called a spade a spade. If you were that, you were that. But Mom would always try to search out that positive thing that she could like do or say or for around people. So I feel like that's to me the legacy that she left. And when people say to me, oh, you look just like your mom, my response is always pretty much the same. I said, I look like her. I just wish I could be like her, because I know I don't have some of those good qualities, like only seeing the good in people. I've got more James Green. I'm gonna call a spade a spade.
I remember one time I said something to Mom about Jeffrey Dahmer when that case was and she said somebody must have did something to that boy, because ain't nobody gonna just go around eating people for no reason. And I'm looking at her like, are you
She
a
gonna
defense
take it good.
attorney or what? But that's who she was. Like, here he is cutting up people, putting him in the refrigerator, and you talking about somebody must have did something to him. Okay, tell me your most favorite memory with Essie Green. 70.
Joy probably not gonna like this, but it was one time, I forgot, I was a young boy. Joy did something in school. And when she came home, I ain't never seen this Essie in my life. But she showed up, put a good whooping on Joy that day. It got so bad, Papa was telling her, leave her alone, that's enough. And my mom, she was still at it.
Wow.
I ain't never seen mama like that. That was the one time I think my mom ever like put her hands with any of her grandkids. But that day, boy, I don't know
And
what
that
Joy
is a
did.
favorite memory for you, watching your cousin get beat?
Yeah, because like I've never seen that side of my mom before, like ever. She was hot with Joy that day, boy. I don't remember what she did.
Joy probably was out there fighting.
I don't remember what she did. It was when they stayed out on Stanton Avenue. I don't remember what she did, but boy,
Dang.
she was hot with Joy that day. But that really, like, that might be the only time in the 18 years of my life that I ever seen my mom like mad. Like, even when she get mad, she don't really show it. But she was hot that day. Sorry, Joy.
All right, Kevin. What's your favorite memory?
It would probably be closer to before she passed, how we used to just lay up on the couch, watch TV, and just chill, like stuff like that. Like, because there's so much we done, it's like hard to really choose something, but like that was like my more favorite times.
I remember how she used to get you all the time on the weekends. Because your mom was, she's out turned up somewhere in the club. And every time I talked to Mom, she was half Kevin. Yeah, they love their grandchildren. Sometimes I think to the detriment of the grandchildren.
Right, and that's in the time that I got caught driving.
That's what I'm getting ready to talk about.
I got caught driving. My mom didn't want me to come home. She was gonna put her hands on me. My grandma said, "No, Kelly, he's coming home with me."
Listen. My thing with Mom, again, she loved her grandchildren, but I guess I have 3 times in our different phases of our life. I remember being 8 years old and sitting on Mom's lap, and she used to literally feed me her lifesavers out of her mouth. And Daddy used to get so mad, talking about, that girl ain't no baby. You feeding her out of your, he was a hater. But anyway.
Like you a baby bird or something.
Right, but that was like my girl. We was like that. We was like that when I was little, and then when I was older, my fondest memory is when we did revivals together. And I never will forget the one we did at Peggy's church, where it was a Ruth and Naomi. And it was whether thou goest, I go. And like when I would go to preach somewhere, she would support me. And when she would go to preach, I'd go sing. So that's the kind of thing I loved about her. But that time that Kevin stole my car and went joyriding and then got stopped by the police, and Daddy rode him forever. Because Kevin told a police officer that his name was Michael Burton. He told the police his name was Michael Burton. And the police officer called me, and I had to call Mom to come and get me to go get my car from the police station. And the police officer asked me, did I want to leave Kevin there overnight for a lesson? And I was going to. And Mom said, no, ain't leaving that boy there. So I said, okay. I said, well, then you take him home with you, because I'm telling you, if you go home with me, I'm going to hurt him. And when we got out to the car, I said, you go ahead with your mama. You come on, honey. And I'm like, this boy just stole my car. Like, at what point he ain't got no license? It's 3:00 in the morning. And you talking about, come on, honey? And I know he ain't get in no trouble when he got over there.
Of course not.
Like you said, that's how she did with her grandchildren. Because I remember when Kevin was little, and I used to drive, he used to catch the bus to Mom's, and then I would pick him up and take him home. And I went there to get him one day, and Daddy talking about, he don't want to go. I said, he's going. And Mom was like, he can stay. I'll take him in. No, but it's like, you're not going, I'm his parent. He gonna get in his car. It's like, but they just, I won't say they love them to their detriment. I just feel like.
Oh, I will say it because.
I just feel like we were all really blessed in a way that most people don't know. I was just telling somebody today, I've never heard my parents curse at each other, like hit each other. I just, there was always peace around them. I mean, I know they argue, everybody argues.
Every 5 minutes you heard "shuh" from one of them. One of them's gonna "shuh."
I'm talking about like today, where it's like you this, you so-and-so, get the F out, none of that. I just didn't grow up with that. And they were just people of peace. And I say this with great pride, they were godly. They weren't just people that in the church, they were godly. They were godly at home. Even as an adult, I stayed at their house, and Sunday morning, you came in the living room and got down on your knees for prayer. I don't care how grown you were. I don't care. My daddy said, I don't care what time you got in this morning. At 9:00, we all in the living room having prayer. So they were godly. And Mom was, to me, sometimes I would say, just to put up with Daddy, she was godly. But she was truly a godly woman. I never saw anything out of her life that made me question her love for God or for her family, ever.
What's wrong with you?
I heard some noise in the window. It's like, is that Mom trying to come in here?
Oh my God, that's funny. But yeah, I was thinking about how, when I said to their veterans, like, especially with Byron being the first grandson, and then his father died when he was 10 months old. And I remember Dad saying to me, as long as I live, this boy will not have to ever want for anything. And I think Byron to the extreme because of his purity and, child, he didn't know, but he did do anything he wanted. His grandfather was going to give it, whether he should get it or not. But family was extremely important to them. And I found it interesting because Mom came from a really, really large family, like a whole bunch of people. And daddy only had one sister and one brother. So he didn't have that need for a lot like mom had, because she was used to being around a lot of people. But they both still had a great love for family. Like, even though he didn't talk to his family on a regular basis like mom did, he was still very family oriented. And I think that's one of the biggest blessings that we have, or that we can talk about as a family, is that, like you say, we come from parents that genuinely loved us. And they didn't just tolerate us, but they loved us and they loved our children. And so it is on days like this. We've lost Javante. It's on days like this that we want to stop and just take a minute to remember what a blessing they were to us. Because I'm telling you, with this COVID thing, and then just with sicknesses, period, it's like every day, 3 or 4 or 5 people are talking about somebody died. I mean, it's just happening so fast and so frequently. And we need to take moments like this to appreciate each other and to appreciate the bonds that we have. And no matter, if we don't get along all the time, we don't see eye to eye all the time. James and Essie taught us to love each other, period. And we can talk about each other and we can get mad at each other. And we might even want to throat punch each other, but nobody else is going to do it. And there's only so much you're going to say to me about my family. I don't care what they do. I remember specifically.
You're the only throat puncher. That's all you want to do is.
That's why I stay in Facebook jail, because I keep saying that. But I don't care. But I remember when Byron first got sent away, and church people were coming to me, asking me, then I feel like a failure as a mother, and what was daddy going to preach now? And he's going to preach the same thing he's been preaching. And Byron is a grown man. So no, I don't feel like a failure. He's made his own decisions, just like you make yours. But family always stands together. And I just want us to take advantage of these moments. Does anybody else have anything else you want to say? Jay's phone died, so we lost him. Nobody has anything else to say?
I do want to say, thank you, Lord. No, I do want to say that I really would like us to stay actively engaged. Like, this doesn't take a lot, of time. And I just feel like it's important. And I feel like one of the things that Daddy wanted to do, and he regretted that he didn't get to do, was really do family vacations. All our family vacations were around ministry. And I remember not long before he died, he said, I sacrificed you all for ministry because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But he really wanted us to be a close family. And I just feel like, I want to see us do that. And I know right now Junior is away. And, the other day Joy called me, and it just filled my heart with joy, just that she called just to say hi to me. Because I know right now she's working a lot of jobs and stuff, but I really want us, I don't know about Jamie, but, the reality of 60 is real to me. So I just want to make sure that we do everything we can. Hi, Trey. To be there for each other, so that, one of the things I tell people, I miss my mom, God knows I do, but I have no regrets because I did what I could do while she was here. So I don't want us to have regrets. So I think the best way to do that, because, life is not life is not promised to us. It's a gift. And I think when we take care of it and do what we do, then we'll have no regrets, about each other.
I totally agree. Because like you say, like we've been, we spent what, half hour, maybe 45 minutes together. That's not a lot of time. And we can take this time out even weekly. I remember we were doing it every Sunday. Then everybody got busy doing this, that, and other. And, we don't know how long we're gonna
And then
be.
it was just me and you. Remember, me and you would come on there. It was just me and you.
Just be us.
So I was like, well, I could just call you. Ain't no point in going on the Zoom, just see you.
Exactly. Started out with everybody, including the grandchildren and the great-grand. Then it
All
was
love.
me and you. But then, and I keep saying this, and Trey, he's like, and you ain't got to keep saying that because you ain't going nowhere. I keep saying, when I'm gone, everybody gonna be, oh my God, I wish I had spent more time with Aunt Jamie. I wish I had cleaned my room when my mom asked me to. I wish,
I don't think that. I
Oh,
don't
And
think
Jamie,
that's in
and
it.
Jamie, I just heard that speech 2 weeks ago.
Listen,
My
you
mom
ain't
just
got
told
to
me the same thing.
that's
listen,
right.
but you ain't got to throw the knife in Trey's heart about cleaning up the room. That
Wait
ain't
a minute, let me tell y'all this. Y'all know Steve Harvey has this new, I'm a judge, a reality show. He's a judge.
yeah.
The other day, it was a father and a son on there, and the father was suing his son for $4,800 because the son hadn't been paying rent, so he's been paying rent, whatever. Plus, his room was so nasty. So the father had taken all these pictures and brought them to court. And he said there's banana peelings and there's potato chip bags and there's used condoms and the bed was all like it had no sheets on. I mean, the room was nasty. So then in the middle of all of that, he said, and he got a baby on the way. And Steve Harvey said, I know you didn't make no baby in that room. But the funny thing was they kept talking about how much they loved each other, the father and the son. And he said, I just want my son to understand responsibility. He's like, he went, got him a car, and he said he was going to pay him back. He didn't pay back for the car. So this father and the mother kept paying their loan payments because they didn't want his son to mess up his credit. Then it was like 2 or 3 other things that they kept doing because they were trying to protect his credit. Ended up, he was suing him for $4,800. And the son kept saying he wasn't paying it, this, that, and other. Steve Harvey ended up, the judgment was for like almost $9,000. And he said, and the reason I'm doing this is because you keep standing here talking about how much you love your father. And your father has presented pictures of him holding you as a baby, all the way up to you were a teen with his arm around you, always showing that he's trying to protect you and blah, blah, blah. He said, and you're going to pay him this money because you stand here with tears in your eyes talking about how much you love your dad, but you just don't think he should be making a big deal over the bedroom. And he said, and it's not about the bedroom, it's about respect. He said, and on top of that, I have 2 sons that are working here. They're right over there and they're hearing every word I'm saying. And I want them to know I want my money back too. So my judgment is for the father. And I cracked up laughing. But I thought about it when he was showing the pictures of that room. And the father kept saying, and he's a great guy, but he's just nasty. And I was cracking up laughing. But my point is what Kelly said, we have to make time for each other because we just don't know. I mean, like, every day I'm hearing more and more stories about somebody dying, people that I know personally, and people that I was talking to somebody on Facebook Saturday, and I was informed today that she died. Like, it's just, we got to spend the time together because ain't nobody trying to hear no stories after they're gone. Because I already got my program written out and it's not no room in there for a whole bunch of stories. So anything you got to tell me now, you need to tell me now. because you will not be doing it at because my sister's gonna have a program. Well, all of y'all can have a program, but if she's not crying, because I know how devastated she'll be when I'm going. But if she can hold herself together enough to stick with the program, yeah, you won't be up there saying a whole lot. Oh my God, y'all like my haircut?
Yes, we do.
Looking like your sons. You do.
You know,
You
but
and
that
Trey to win. You look like Trey and Byron right now. For sure.
you know, that made me think of, remember that time when Heaven said Heaven was sad when she was younger because she said people said she looked just like her dad. And she got real sad. And somebody asked her why was she sad. She said, because they said I look like a boy. And that made me think of that when he said that. Like I look like my sons. Throat punch, Kevin, throat punch.
Nah, I wasn't meant that way.
I know, I'm just messing with you. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. But again, I appreciate your time. I really, really do. And like Kelly said, we really don't have no excuse for why we can't do this more often. Because ain't nobody's birthday coming up no more till.
Kevin's February the 9th.
Yeah. And then mom and dad's anniversary is 16. In March.
Oh my God.
I told somebody from October really till April, well, July. It's like some painful memory each month. Because November is Sib's birthday. December is Daddy's birthday and his death. Where's Mom's
Joy birthday November 2. Joy birthday November 2.
Yeah, but she's still here. I'm talking about like.
You talking about gone?
Yeah, thanks. And then February, Mom and Dad's anniversary. And March is Mom's death. April's Freddie's death. No, it's not. Freddie's birthday. May is Mother's Day. June is Father's Day. So it's not till July when we get a break. That's a lot. So we got to stay in touch. We need to get back to doing this at least once a month.
Be in touch with thee.
You always go to some. Shay said, Lynn.
Actually, I was gonna come on and say, Mama, Mama, you know I love you. You know I love you, Mama. All right, people.
Oh, you ain't gonna try to hit that note.
I can hit
Yeah.
Mama, you're the queen of my heart.
My woman.
Your love.
See y'all. Love you.
What? Wait a minute. Is he trying to rush us off?
Because your mom was saying.
I thought you was ending it.
Bye.
I love you.
All right, love you too.
See you soon.
Bye.